Today I'm going to find out what it was like to risk your life for your future. The American dream. Try to understand a bit what my ancestors went through. Here we are. Oregon history. The lure of gold. Still have that. So you must be Peter.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Kelsey.
Welcome to Eastern Oregon.
Thank you so much.
And the
Oregon Trail. So this is it.
This is where your family would have come through long ago.
Incredible.
Of the roughly 2,200 miles of the original Oregon Trail, about 300 are still visible in ruts such as these.
Wow.
Beginning in 1836, Americans seeking a better life headed west on the Oregon Trail. It was a dangerous journey that could take 6 months and over 2,000 miles through sun-baked plains and over treacherous mountains. Settlers walked most of the way as the wagons carried supplies. Families like the Dimmicks started at jumping-off points in Missouri and followed the Platte River northwest through the plains and over the Rocky Mountains. These pioneers followed the Snake River north until it joined the mighty Columbia. From there, they headed west to the trail's end in the Willamette Valley. The Oregon Trail remained one of the most viable routes to the west until 1869 with the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. By that time, over 500,000 people had gone west in the hope of achieving the American dream.
Boy, just imagine that.
Yeah, walking through this day after day. And a number of people did keep journals on the trip west. So I've located a document that I think that you might find interesting.
Wow, how about that? Joseph Gregg started across the plains in April 1852. Members of company, Joseph Dimmick.
It is a rare find to get a journal of a specific family like this. Joseph Gregg, who wrote this document, was the nephew of your great-great-great-grandfather, Joseph Dimmick Sr.
Right.
And so that made him the first cousin of your great-great-grandfather, Joseph Dimmick Jr., who was about 10 years old when they made the crossing.
Yeah. Comfort Dimmick, I love that name, his wife. And their children, Ann Dimmick, Thomas Dimmick. Oh, how about that? Thomas Dimmick died on the plains. That must have been tough. He and 2 others had been out on a buffalo hunt, and the weather being so very hot, he drank quite freely of poor water. In the latter part of the night, he was taken sick with the cholera. Wow. And died about 6 or 7 o'clock. Boy, that's quick. I didn't realize that cholera could take you down so fast. Cholera was born in water.
Yeah.
So was the water actually contaminated by human?
Yeah, human waste. They didn't follow the best hygiene, and so the water was often tainted. Cholera was the deadliest disease that the immigrants faced on the trail.
Wow. Hasty preparations were made with fine bedding and clothing, and his body buried alone on the plains. In the afternoon, the train moved sadly on, leaving the grave of this loved one. A grave never again to be looked upon by anyone who had ever seen him. This was their first son, their firstborn son. Isn't that funny? You know, I know they were all leaving for that benefit, you know, to try to give their kids a better life. And to watch Thomas go must have been devastating. I think he was about 23 at this time.
Right.
Yet, sad as it was, such rites were not uncommon that year. New graves were passed daily in the journey along the Platte River, sometimes several. I don't know factually how many of them made it. Was it likely to survive the journey?
The mortality rate was about 4%. So a lot of families made it intact, but many did not.
I thank you so much for getting this stuff for me. Really incredible.
And so there are journey, of course, didn't end here.
Right.
There were many more miles to travel over the Blue Mountains that you see in the distance.
So you get over that one, you hit this valley, and you think, oh, for crying out loud. It's like, how much further do we have to go? How far exactly is it from here to Willamette Valley?
Roughly 300 miles from here to the Willamette Valley.
So the last 300, wow.
Yeah, so
That's
about
incredible.
another month of travel.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'd like to say a little prayer for Thomas and those who didn't make it. Well, to have a first-hand account of what this journey was like provided such an insight into their day-to-day, but also the tragedy and the sacrifice involved in getting out here. You think about comfort and losing their firstborn son. It's powerful. Now I'd like to know where they ended up. I'd like to see this place that they came such a great distance for and suffered so much for.